Witam wszystkich. Ciao a tutti. I'm going to talk in English. First of all, I'd like to thank my sponsor, Metzler. This is a little tutorial in which I will try, in my subjective opinion, to give some hints on what kind of medicines you should take before leaving for a trip with your bike, what kind of stuff, meaning wear and gear, to take with you, and the third one, what kind of media gear to take, meaning GoPro and stuff like that. Okay, let's get to section 1, medicines. Okay, I've seen some American tutorials where the guys were literally taking all the pharmacy with them. I have to say, maybe because my bags are not as big as theirs, I always choose a minimum amount of medicines, starting from what the law prescribes, because in some countries where I'm traveling to, we have to have this first aid kit, which is one of the cheapest one. I do not rely so much on saving my life from this, but let's say it's something that you must have in some cases. Then we have a normal painkiller. It's a Polish brand, very good one. Actually, it's American, but produced in Poland. When I travel, my stomach sometimes is subject to bacterial or some kind of attacks, so you'd better have a stopper on, because while you're riding is the worst thing that it can possibly happen to you. Obviously, especially when it's hot, we travel on summer, I always suggest to have some good eye drops, and of course our throat is nose is exposed quite often to let's say some bad weather changes, so it's always good to have some drops for your throat and nose. And last but not least, this is a product for kids. I've been using it especially when I was in very hot countries. It's something I use on my skin in some, let's say, secret areas, especially when it's bloody hot and you need to the day after get rid of this sore skin that it's very annoying. Last but not least, I haven't showed it. This is against mosquito bites. It's quite, you cannot see the brand, which is even there. But it happens in the. I'm not using camp, but still, it's quite frequent to get some mosquito bites. So this is what I suggest. And there is something that I haven't shown to you. It's called Zyrtec, which is an anti-staminic, which I'm using because I'm allergic to quite a lot of things. Let's get to next section. What to bring. Okay, let's get into the section. What kind of gear to carry out with you? We start, okay, obviously from a very good helmet, which I'm not going to mention, even though I'm very, very happy with my helmet. You will discover yourself what kind of brand I'm using. But let's start from the throat. Two kind of protections, basic ones. One, a bandana to cover your throat when it's hot. All the time, remember to wear one. And the other one is a normal neck cover done with this polar material, bought in Decathlon for a few, for very cheap price. And this is as far as the throat is concerned. What I always take is 2 pair of gloves. One of them, it's very light for the summer, actually quite cheap ones. They are very well blended with the color of my motorbike. I use them in any condition when it's not raining, and they are covering the parts that might get hurt, which are those. So I'm really, really happy with them, and I'm not sweating, and they feel like a second skin. In case of colder climate or let's say rain, I use this kind of water resistant gloves, which are obviously less sensitive, but extremely good in order not to freeze, even if my let's say hand gas is heated. and of course they are from a very well-known brand, Italian brand, which I personally love. Okay, let's get into what we carry. I usually try to travel with some normal cotton long sleeves shirts, which I sweat a lot obviously when I go to hot climates. In this case we will see, but if it gets let's say colder, I use this thermical lingerie bought in Decathlon. I can say it without any problem, which has been very, very useful and in the past, and it helped me from not freezing. Before I forgot to say, I mean, in some cases you can even use for the head this balaclava if it's quite cold, but I try not to put too many, let's say, too many things on my head, because it's already upsetting me that it's extremely hot while riding. So one thing that you really cannot do without, this is the kidney protection that has two functions. One of them is keeping your back a little bit stiff, avoiding having some uncomfortable and not orthopedical position, which may cause some bad pain in your back, as a matter of fact. And the other thing, because you can see there are some semi-stiff sticks in this kidney protection. It's produced again by the same company, and never start without it. You can regulate it from the side, and it also helps you not getting wind in that specific part of your body. And let's finish with let's say the gear that I'm using. I always carry two kind of trousers. These are again produced by, I guess it's Dainese in Italian. Lovely. You just insert the protection for the knees, which obviously you have to do. This in case of either colder weather or a little bit of rain. And I have a summer version. And last thing, of course, I forgot to show you my shoes, which are Dainese as well. And let's finish with, let's say, normal socks, but if it gets cold, all the extremities are the ones suffering most of it. So some thermical socks. And well, I think I used it very few times. Once I went for some off-road. In this case I have this, I call them like sort of a Robocop underwear, but it's more of a psychological feeling in order to protect my hips and to protect my important part, my bottom. I really do not want to suffer. We finish with, well, I love it because it's I've been checking it. It's a Duratex jacket in, sorry, Gore-Tex, I wanted to say, with all the protection in my back, in the elbows, and it's produced by Scott. I'm really pleased with it. It's the second year that is accompanying me. It's quite easy, quite expensive to wash it because you have to use a particular product. And now let's get to the last section. Okay, it looks like a magic bag, but this is fundamental for my trips. It's produced by the Italian company Givi. It's a tank bag that allows me very many things, I would say. First of all, as you can see, there is a transparent section of this bag where I insert my iPhone. In such a way, easily it becomes my navigation system. Thanks to the Bluetooth, I can hear all the indications in my helmet. Of course, the only problem I cannot change things unless I take out my gloves. So I try to avoid doing that. Since we've been speaking about the iPhone, this section is what kind of media gear should we have with us in order to have some decent, let's say, decent film. iPhone, let's not forget, is not only a telephone. It's a HD camera, and there are some applications which I suggest you to download, like slow motion and some other features that allow you to use some special effects which can be useful during your trip. At the end of the day, well, actually no, let's get before to the first camera. You have recognized it. Unfortunately, I couldn't have enough budget for a Hero 3, so GoPro 3. I'm using the Hero 2, which is mounted in quite different ways in my helmet, on the side, and in the bike in different position. I use a bullet camera, which is even more definition, because we got 11 million pixel definition. At the end of every day, in order to do my video blog, I use my iPad with iMovie, and inside I can insert all my files which I filmed from the iPhone. I have a special application that communicates between the two, and I download through this special connector all the material recorded in this SD and in this micro SD. Well, if you still have some space in your bag, use one of these monopod, which are really helpful in some